actually just chilling, going through a bunch of these old magazines I got off of the online database yesterday, or our online archives or whatever. And yeah, I stumbled across a bunch of these old game guides and magazines and stuff, so I figured chill, read some of those, go flip through them. Meanwhile, I'm gonna be over here doing that boring grind for my Digimon World 3 party that I need to get up for that boss. So that's all that's gonna be over there. Pretty excited about some of these. I mean, there was so many. I'm still, you know, pilfering through them. We got this one here, which is computer video games issue. Where's it say? From October of '97. Looks like it's British. Copyrighted, right? I mean, there was a bunch. I automatically went first for the ones that were like Final Fantasy on the cover, or Zelda. You know, any with Link or Dora's mascot, or even older. Like they have like crazy. There's like I saw one of them had something to do with Link to the Past being released in America, and the image on it was already like a Link from the art that they used to promote Ocarina of Time. That adult Link. So that was pretty cool. In fact, there was an ad in one of these from 90s, 98 or 99 with like Timbaland in it. Or even earlier. No, it was before, because it was before Final Fantasy 8 came out. It's like, here's the new Final Fantasy game, looks really cool. You got a sneak peek. On the next page, it's like, here's this dude named Timbaland showing off some Echo application bit. I mean, I guess he's been producing music for like ever, but I never heard of him until his album and his boots. All of a sudden, it's like, boom, Timbaland. Anyways, yeah. So, like, I love the old ads in it too. Like, these are just some of them. I'm amazed with like how they got away with some of these. At least, like, I don't know about the British publication ones, but the American ones. I mean, we know the '90s were a little less regulated. So look at Nickelodeon. That's right. That's simple. New Clear Cell Complete Face Wash is just what you need. Oh, that's it. Of course, it'd be in a gamer magazine. Man, I wish I had like. It wouldn't matter if I had the actual copies of these magazines. Half the pages would be out on the wall. This one. Yeah, for the internet, this is my connection to the world here. Is whatever one of these random gaming magazines I can find. Me and my brothers would have hours. Never see those games, of course. Never know about them. Robotech. I had a PS2. Other than that, obviously Quake. Played a lot of Quake. That was fun. Oh, okay. So this is like the little index table. Yeah, see, there's Final Fantasy VII on here. Obviously, Lunatic. I've heard it pronounced Lunatic, and I was wondering if I was Resident Evil. Suikoden. Oh hell yeah! Yeah. I discovered Suikoden way late in my life, and just now I had it on the PS Vita, but the buttons broke, so I just cycled through menus. I can't do anything productive, so I'm stuck at probably like 3/4 of the way through my Suikoden. So I'll be restarting and playing that series here someday when I get people on board. Actually, want to see that. Serial thriller. Video games for around 18 months. Drastically changing the magazine style in May issue number 174. Not sure if I ever had any of these guys back growing up. There you go, bro. Sorry, I had you covered up with the actual mag. I mean, that's on you, I guess. Try to keep it public appropriate. Or probably best not. I don't know. Smack my gosh. You'd like to see some letters related to Tamagotchi antics. At that point in time, what antics can your Tamagotchi really get into? Banned from most schools and are viewed as a curse by Asian politicians. So anyone who slipped on a turd while feeding their pet got thrown out of class or thrown out of parliament even. We want to hear all your horror stories of virtual parenthood. Tamagotchi farm, blah blah blah. Isle of Dogs, London. That's fucking hilarious. Nights. Oh, yeah, Nights for Saturn. Still have not played it. I just know I'm familiar with it because of all the shameless promoting they do for it in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Pretty sure that's the name, right? Nights. Wave Race. I think I played a little bit of it. I realized there was such a following for Wave Race. Tekken, of course, there is. It's still being used and credited. T3 for Christmas in Japan, maybe? That would have been awesome to go to T3. Back when there was a T, I guess. I remember when it was open to the public, like you show up at 5 passes, you can go in, and not that I had the car or any of the what I wanted to go as what the plan was. It's like, I have 16, we're going to E3, like me and my friend, we're driving. It doesn't matter because that's really like pretty much just like gotta be media or in the industry. We'll give out some like extra things, I guess, but yet to be the E3, obviously. So dream shattered. What? Pocket Monsters kills Final Fantasy VII. I feel like that's an undersell, like hardcore in that description. A Game Boy title is about to eclipse sales of the monumental Final Fantasy VII in Japan. Pocket Monsters is a cute game in which players raise a virtual monster, then link up with friends to have battles. It's really cool. That is just a small piece of that. What? There's a Nintendo TV show, 64 Stadium. Obviously, Probably not in English, but that would be really cool to see. Hit cartoon anime series Pokemon is a nationwide phenomenon approaching Tamagotchi status. So it took out Final Fantasy and it's gunning for Tamagotchi. These were things I was all unaware of until you started getting Pikachu cards in your Pop-Tart box. Yes, by the time we have read this, Pokemon has far surpassed Tamagotchi. They're gonna do a Nintendo 64 version. I wonder if that's actually Pokemon Stadium they're talking about. Now let's go on over. Tamagotchi still. I'm slowing down on that grinding. Much cool shit over here to look at. Oh, Eddie. Tech Wars, which has been widely acclaimed by urban poetry and trying to see how they make the connection to Eddie. Okay, they incorporate capybara or capoeira, into their routine. Got it. That's what I was curious about. Pretty sure those things blew up a lot. If they didn't, the batteries themselves blew up. I remember early rechargeable batteries. Hello, Pokemon. Do your thingy. Yeah. I miss old school magazines. I mean, even when they were like spam full, chock full of ads, they were relevant and ish. Semi. I mean, I don't know. It seemed like they incorporated the games or the content of the magazine into the ads. Like the magazine designed the ads. It seemed like back then. Now it's just like I bought a magazine the other day and there was about 5 pages worth of content I read out of 56 or 80 some odd pages. There was barely anything that wasn't an ad. One shape, way, or form. It was all just so bad. Still bought it though. Didn't buy anything from those ads, I don't think. But, Nintendo 64 demonstration pod. There was some kind of. I want to check that out. Lilac Wars. You guys see that show up? Alright, sweet. The plot in Star Fox 64, known as the Lilac Wars, was kind of. Okay, but. Like. Is that just a pun on them playing the actual Star Wars, like Star Fox game? I can spell. Okay, that's why PAL region is Lilac Wars. Got it. That makes sense. Don't turn your head sideways so I get him. it's creepier that way. This, however, works. The Golden Joystick Awards, 1997. Bet that was a good time. Oh, I can see Kodamon's life now. That seems. Let's see, software categories, best looking. Hey, Playjoy. Thanks for following. How's it going? Oh, that is, yes. That was my favorite thing with them. Like, I would have strategy guides for games I didn't have, or ever had. And end up just being like, half got cut up. Most of them are gone now. I'm rebuilding the collection. There was a specific Zelda Ocarina of Time one that I've never been able to find a copy of again. That was more artwork and like lore and little tidbits than it was actual game stuff. But that was my favorite one. I let somebody borrow it once and never saw it again. Yeah, check the website. Hold on, I'll get the link. Archive.org. I don't know if you've ever checked that out. But you can go and like, you don't even have to download them. You can browse them right on there. They got a reader, and you can read a bunch of these guides that I found, or like magazines. And it's not just gaming stuff. I mean, they're trying to archive as much as they can of like pop culture stuff. They got old school radio, old school like software. They got an arcade on there, DOS games and stuff like that. Anyone who's played like Treasure Mountain or Treasure Cove as a kid, they got that all up on there. I wish this listed like the contestants. I guess maybe somewhere else they do, or you gotta watch it and fill this out, or just nominate your own. Yeah, I guess that's what it was. Ash is the way to go. What? I wasn't even like reading what was going on up here. Can you see like the text good enough to read, or I'm kind of just scrolling? Then again, this is what I was talking about earlier, like just the quality of advertisements and like stuff they got away with it in the early 90s versus now. Although again, this is obviously British magazine. Like it's hard, like you don't get any of this when you buy a game now. You don't. You know, most of them don't even come with a book. They come with like a little thing being like, get Xbox Live. I mean, it's better for the planet and all that to not be getting the game, like physically, but you know, everyone knows in his experience, I'm sure, game lost through like data corruption and stuff like that. So it's always good to have a physical, even if it's useless, you have it. It's a thing you can put up and it's not imaginary once it stops working. You know? But the older ones came with like box art, really good box art, and like thick little books full of like stuff that they didn't have to do. You know? Although back then games didn't get to tell you the whole story in the game because of budgets and stuff, so they try to make up for that, I guess, with some text and cool art. Nico. Sub Shatiko. See. I don't think I ever played a PlayStation Street Fighter. It's always been like, Super Nintendo or more current gen remakes like 4 and whatnot. Played Tekken and some other fighting games. Although, I gotta say the Dreamcast had some awesome fighting games. Like what was it, Bloody Roar? I think the PS1 might have had it too, but I'm not sure. But you could like transform from animals into the fighters, or the fighters into like these animal like were-rabbits and werewolves and bears. Oh my! It was fun stuff. I love that game. It was yet another I played at somebody else's house. Never had my own. I think one of the few fighting games I actually did own was War Gods on the Nintendo 64. War Gods was fun. Big gruesome and underrated. I never see it mentioned anywhere and stuff. It was, I mean, I guess it's gonna be overshown easily by like Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Virtua Fighter, and God, now there's just endless amount more hit fighting series. Everyone's got their own little category. Preference, I mean. Yeah. Look at them. They're a couple levels now, I suppose. I see goes. So I don't know if I have to level up the Digimon and in each state to get it to learn new attacks. Like, do I have to use Angemon to get Angemon leveled up? Because if so, I've just wasted a bunch of time leveling up my rookie. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So we grind. Oh, I think you'll find this one interesting, Clay, is I got all the copies of the Nintendo Power versions of the Zelda comic. Yep. I was pretty excited about that. All in one issue. I can pull that up, read that, check that out or whatever later. I got a bunch of like old like Metroid comics, and some of them are in other languages. I don't recommend ever looking for Final Fantasy comics. If you're somewhere with like safe filters and stuff. Most of that is not what you think. Or it is what you think. I should. I'm like that. I had a buddy in the army who would kick everyone's ass at this game. Right? Marvel. Oh no, this is Marvel Super. That's cool. Whatever. Marvel vs. Capcom, though, he is. I've never seen anyone beat him without some form of fluke or crutch or handicap. If I end up scrolling too fast for any of you guys, let me know and I will back up or like, whatever here. I just don't want to linger too long for you. There's a lot to like check out on here. I'll probably be up doing this for a while, switching through a lot of stuff I've been getting from there. Since I got like, I couldn't capture or stream for the past few days. I had an update, that driver update got botched, so while I was waiting to get that all fixed, started doing some digging, get feeling nostalgic. So, got plenty of stuff to just throw up for a while. Oh, that's not good. Still played daily by thousands of people on the internet. There is still a pretty solid Quake following online. Like classic Quake, you get in on some private servers like so, and then you'll uninstall and never do it again because they're just way too good. Ooh, Castlevania games, solid favorite. It's definitely in the category of one of my favorite series that I've yet to beat a single one of. So again, that's on the roster someday. Plan on beating a few of them. I got really close on a couple of the Game Boy Advance ones when I was back at school. I had a friend that would always let me use her Game Boy on bus rides and shit. So it's Infinity up in there. You actually get like the items. Yeah, you play the a la carte. Oh. Yeah, you could like morph in that one. Make it look like such a RPG in some of these screens. Like you think you get to edit your like find or at work on your gear a little more than you do. You just get to stop in and be like, I'll buy what's available right now, standard every time. What do you expect from the SNES? PlayStation here. I like looking through these because then I find all these like new games that I've never seen. Like, what the fuck is G Police? Apparently, it is a shoot 'em up like Soviet Strike, but with the amazing 3D graphics and futuristic style of Wipeout 2097. Never played it, but the Wipeout on the N64 was awesome. Now you know the Psygnosis are so confident of a Christmas number one slot for G Police. I have to look into this one. I love how these put in the phone number of the developers on these games they review. Released by Konami. Telephone number right here. That's awesome. They definitely don't do that. I mean, you can contact them, but good luck. Filtered heavily. Apparently, you got some flying and some shooting, all kinds of goodies. Getting G Police. Nuclear Strike meets Wipeout. They make a lot of comparisons with that. cross Resident Evil, Tomb Raider with some Jackie Chan thrown in. Sign me up. Which game is this? Scrolling beat 'em ups are all but dead. That sadly is not true now. I feel like the scrolling beat 'em ups have pretty much faded. The bouncer was really good though. That's kind of what I have in mind. The roaming beat 'em up. We've already had the groundwork done by both ball games and Die Hard Arcade. Fighting Force Nightmare Creatures. Oh, Nightmare Creatures. I've heard a lot about that. Fighting Force, I think I have. I don't know anything about it. Innovative 3D. I've looked into downloading Nightmare Creatures. I mean, playing Nightmare Creatures. And then Nightmare Creatures allows you to play as two mysterious people. Ignatius, a man of God, or Nadia, a young American with a killer blade. Again, a book. Both equally capable of defeating the members of a dark and mysterious cult, the Brotherhood of Hakat. Hey, I've been reading about him. They use opium, actually, in India back in the day, to ward off workers, the forces of Hecate. On one cold and damp evening in 1834, London is crawling with legions of terrifying monsters. These creatures are the creation of arch-villain Adam Crowley. Oh, I see what they did here. No doubt his experiments will help him rule the world or something equally as sinister. Ignatius and Nadia are going to kick some monster ass. I kick so much ass for the Lord. I'm definitely gonna go play this at some point now. The game features some simple puzzles such as pushing switches or causing chain reactions of explosions. The real gameplay revolves around combat. No. The creatures have relatively high AI. We'll beat the test of that. All proving tough to beat. Again, the test of that. Each has a weak spot that needs to be exploited. The game really excels with Ignatius and Nadia's start clobber. They have a simple range of moves, but these can be linked to cause serious damage. Just check out what they can do to zombies to see what kind of cuts up. Nadia, look out behind you. You'll get bitten in the butt by Mr. Werewolf. That's great. I love it. Jump, shoot, break. Games are a real challenge, but shopping at our new game zone isn't. Comments. Formula One. God, look how the scenery looks in these. Then and now go look at the newest Grand. Even look 2 or 3 Gran Turismo's back and see or Forza. Forza, the one that gets critically acclaimed for being the most realistic graphic wise and experience. Their vehicles are spot on. I mean, I was gonna say I think I heard some of them actually use some of the actual engineers or designers of the vehicles, but I got reading. Forgot I'm grinding up here in the corner. Never been a big driving car fan, unless you have some other objective besides going in a circle. Need for Speed games are obviously exempt from that first statement, especially the PlayStation ones, Most Wanted, or whatever, Hot Pursuits. Just become play cops and robbers and beat the shit out of each other, Demolition Derby style. What are you doing, Panicoot? Causing trouble, no doubt. What's next here? notes and stuff. Alright, well, I gotta walk off for a sec, and I'm gonna leave you guys on some Cynosis, released by. Okay, so Cynosis is the game. Colony Wars. Cool. Check out Colony. I'm back. I don't know why the music keeps stopping like that. Did you guys enjoy reading about the Simpsons? Holy shit. They got a 2-page spread on the Simpsons. Actual soccer. Never heard of actual soccer. Like Gremlin Studios. I remember this game. I hated this game. My buddy had it and always wanted to play it. And it took me, I just couldn't figure it out. Yeah, you like the Bandicoot? Being all cute. That's the baby mascot. The other one is camera shy. Like he knows. You don't know, but he knows. Yeah, my buddy had this game. I can never figure out how to play it. I think I owe it a retry. And I've never played the Nintendo 64 Robotech game either, but the PlayStation 2 one was pretty cool. Zone of Enders, also really cool for if you like space fighting games. That was a good one I got with a Metal Gear Solid like bundle deal. That's the one where you get a special box and that thing go to a room. If you have it, a save file from it on your memory card, you get the Zone of the Enders box. Will take you to a room or something like that. I don't know. And there'll be an item in it if you have a file or read your file one way. Can't remember the specifics. Hercules, I've heard it was a really good game. Sword, sandals, and sideways scrolling. Is it a side scroll? Some of these. Okay, yeah, it does look like some side scrolling. What if it's as hard as fucking Lion King? We beat Aladdin. We never beat Lion King growing up. What was the other hard Disney side-scrolling game they had? One of them. There's another Disney one anyway. A pain in the ass. Most of the game is played out in a horizontally scrolling platform, fighting style. Starting off with a training level, here Herc has to slice up training dummies to rescue damsel dummies. And use his noggin to reach hidden gold. They should make like a Hercules version of like a God of War game. Yeah, the Aladdin carpet level it kind of reminds me of like the Battletoads one. Not as tricky, but it's up there. Like Disney Studios, they had a pretty good game design team back in the day for being like Disney merging into the early scenes of like home video game like affordably, and they're just like, let's show some like Lion King and Goof Troop and all these games, see how they do, and they just nailed it. Like Aladdin was a big challenge. So much fun. That was one of the first games I think me and my brother beat together. What's this? Overboard? What? That looks kind of neat. It's another Psygnosis one. They said there were no original ideas left in video games these days, but they never counted on Psygnosis in the world's first galleon-based comedy shoot-'em-up. I'm pretty sure I have the sequel to this on disc for PlayStation. If it is, I gotta go check. Hold on. So I got this as like just because it was a pirate game bundle. It was supposed to be multiplayer. Holy shit! Now looking at the logo, this is the game. I'd say this is the sequel to that. It's Shipwrecked, and now I realize Psygnosis is the ones who do the Wipeout game I like so much. I'm pretty sure they got like, yeah, that's definitely them. They got the little owl as their there you go, you can really see it. That look. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, those guys. Yeah, we still haven't really played this. I fired it up to see if it worked. I didn't have the controllers at the time, so we still kind of got to do this. But it's cool to see and recognize, this stuff. I just learned some things. Now I learned where it came from, so let's see. By our beards, 'tis true, a PlayStation shoot 'em up that contains not a trace of a jet fighter, no aliens, and hardly a single spacecraft. But there's a spacecraft up there, or possible. Instead, Overboard gives you the helm of a pirate ship, hunting treasure, smuggling grog, and dispatching law-abiding seafarers to Davy Jones' locker with a blistering broadside of hot iron. No less than 15 levels of buccaneering 3D action take you on a journey from the Caribbean to the Middle East, during which you encounter flame-throwing sea defenses, exploding fish, dive-bombing parrots, giant lobsters from Mainbad, dinosaurs, and evil genies, and finally, the infamous Captain Blowfleet. He's a very unpleasant man. So they say. Flying Dutchman. Second one seemed like it was all just like little mini games and stuff. This looks like it's kind of cool. We're gonna have to check this out. I would not have stumbled across it otherwise, I don't believe. Start of the game, your proud vessel comes equipped with the most basic of weapons. A forward firing cannon and 4 guns along each flank for launching broadside attacks. Cool. So you get to upgrade your ship. I could get down to that game, like a pirate ship RPG from back in the D. I wonder if any of these companies are still like active. I mean, not the game developer ones, but like any of the ones you see like the actual ads from. It's getting near the silly season, huh? What's the silly season? It would look like October, but I don't understand how that's the silly season. Some events. The Rap of the Rapper. Played that game. I forgot what it was called once, and trying to explain it made me look so stupid. Somebody was like, "It's a game with a rapping dog, but you don't know what you do." And I was like, "I cannot remember." I was like, "I don't do rapping, but I did something." Obviously, it's a game. Hmm. It's for contests, art submission, and such. Oh, these are release dates. Okay. I was looking at all the fun stuff over here. Oh, GoldenEye. 7th of November. So Final Fantasy 7 and GoldenEye come out the same day. And what? Oh, War Gods 2. That's the fighting game I was just talking about earlier. Tough lineup. I mean, what came out just before them in October? Okay, yeah. At the time of release, I could see them taking over the boards. StarCraft, though, probably held for a minute. When you get down here, and then it's just like on the same day they release GoldenEye. Conquer's Quest, I am curious about. I gotta look up and make sure that's not something to do with Conquer's Bad Fur Day. I know if Conquer's Quest is like a parody, like a homebrew ROM hack. But GoldenEye and Final Fantasy VII taking each other out on the first day. Oof. MTV. Back issues. I want back issues. cheaper or more expensive? That's the question here. This dude wants to know. See, like, look at these ads. It's still cool. Like, obviously, I'm not anywhere near central London, so I could never use it, but I would appreciate seeing that as an 8-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever age I was when this one came out. With the sevens. Squaresoft have rewritten, I think it should be has, right? Anyway. The rules, not just for RPGs, but the future of games. Everything you need to know and how is here. Okay, and then they are doing it all over again with Final Fantasy VII now. Which honestly we all wanted anyway, so we can't even hate. I just don't like how they're doing it. We created a CG-based game as an experiment. Interactive demo to present at the show. It was focused on battle scenes, 100% real-time and polygon-based. That was the seed of Final Fantasy VII, and that was when we decided to make this a CG-based game. So I assume that's what we're seeing up here, is the little predecessor, their little fighting game thing. All I can think of right there is the boss from the end of Eggman's first level on Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I'm glad they came a long way from this here, though. Oh, I'd like to get my hands on that. But they should do that as some hidden content. Then came the discussion on how to design the field scenes, including the actual story. Illustration based or CG. I feel like there is a cut out there, but load times. Oh, okay. Oh man, see, like going from like the Final Fantasy before to like just getting like pictures like this, being like, this is the next Final Fantasy. Like, could you imagine being that stoked? Like now we really don't get any like big reveals. Like, we're so spoiled now that I think there were games we could still have appreciated like being made on some of the older engines. That now we're just so spoiled that it's like, okay, yeah, this person looks really realistic, or this is VR now. Like, we don't get as excited over like what's coming because like a week or a month later, there's something even more. Like, it's just so rapid fire now. Back then, though, look at something like this. Like I know people who can't play Final Fantasy VII because the graphics are so fucking horrendous. And like, well, look at the game from before it, and then imagine being, like I said, 8, 12, 13, even 16, 17-year-old, at the time, look at this. They'd ever played like the Final Fantasy on NES and then saw this randomly one day. It was just like, well, it'd blow my mind. It'd probably blow their minds like Zelda did with me, going from Link to the Past to seeing holiday, promo commercial for Ocarina of Time, just being like, holy shit, did that dude just do a backflip in a Zelda game? You can't even jump in Link to the Past. Like, so cool. I was like, Zelda's like Link's like a real person. Like, he's a real person. You like, not just like a little cartoon. Like, you can see all of him. Like, I couldn't explain 3D at the time. I had no idea what I was talking about. Like these cutscenes and shit that would blow people's minds back then. I wish I could have experienced that. I mean, I obviously did come up through the games, but it was like way out of order and after the time. Like the Nintendo 64 was my time, but we didn't get media and stuff. I got what I had in my hands playing. Sometimes I'd get like a really, like I started with like GoldenEye in Ocarina of Time on the N64. There wasn't much big reveal after that. Those 2 or 3 games. Like I mean, Majora's Mask was beautiful. But I mean, it's like the same engine essentially. And I just feel like this would have been crazy thing to witness then. There are some slight spoilers in here. Right? Like that's another one going from Mega Man like a 2D. Like I mean, the art for it was great. Like, that you were a detailed sprite, but you were a sprite. You were 2-dimensional, like a little walking sticker, and then you get 3D where you're running around and just. Especially since yours was on a PlayStation, so you know the graphics were probably, even if they weren't more like clean or crisp or whatever, there was probably a lot more going on than any other system you've been on. Oh, you had a lot of Sega stuff, I think. So. Let's see, a dangerous man or whatever he is. We're not telling. Oh. See, spoilers. Sephiroth never fails to shock you to the core with his outrageous nihilistic acts. Think of him as Cloud's nemesis. Cloud is an ex-Shinra soldier. Once hero worshipped a senior officer called Sephiroth, but things went horribly wrong during an expedition to a Mako reactor. A complex man. A complex man. Indeed. Can't help but notice there's no Zack on here. Rude. No love for the Zack. In order to make a story with multiple characters into something more realistic, we added depth to certain places which we had to compromise before. Though I don't want to compare this one of the previous games too much. For example, if a character in the group says, "Let's go," 1 or 2 of the others would say, "No, wait a moment." There will be discussions like, "Come on, we're going." "No, we can't." Look. This might slow down the progress of the story a little bit, but we believe it gives the players opportunities to think together with the characters. We hope that people will play this game and say the characters stand out. Yeah, whereas earlier, I see what they're saying. Earlier, it was just like, "Come on, we gotta go this way." I tried reading that sign on purpose 100 times before, and I just like, why is the text box popping up randomly? Oh. Because I can only see like the sliver of what I'm doing over there. Get the magazine and main screen. What were some of the other crazier games when we were growing up that was just like mind blowing? I remember Metal Gear Solid 2 being the first one that, or another one that really blew my mind. Like playing it, in terms of playing one and seeing the sequel. It was like I was at one of my dad's friend's house and his son had a PlayStation 2. Which I think I heard it was coming out or whatever. I don't know. I think I knew people had like Grand Theft Auto on. That's it. And then I saw him playing a game, and I was like, "Wow, this looks badass. What is it?" And then it's like, he died or something. They were like, "Snake, Snake." I was like, "Wait, what?" He's like, I was like, "Is this Metal Gear Solid?" He's like, "Yeah, it's Metal Gear Solid, the second one." I was like, "There's a second one. Wait, what?" It blew my mind literally. I sat there and stuttered for like 20 minutes, trying to be like, "What is it on? What's this? Like, how much is what? What's it about? How do you? Oh, you get to do that? Like, what? You get to aim down your sights." Which I guess the advanced version, like I guess for all intended purposes, like how they do substance and stuff now. The Japan release let you aim down your sights way sooner than we ever got a chance to over here on modded. Unless you play Twin Snakes on the GameCube. What a crush. Stuff's here. I don't know what issue I'll let you guys maybe take a pick for the next issue we get. Although we're only halfway through this one. I don't know if you guys want to switch yet or not. It's 116 pages, around 59. I'd have to say, Super Smash Brothers kind of shook me up a little bit too. Seeing all the characters like that. Crossovers and stuff blew my mind back then too. Cameos, anything like that. But it made me expect other stuff like that. Later on, when then budgets just became so tight, like, overhead was insane. You could tell like I just feel like the heart and soul isn't in the games as much, content-wise, as they were back in the day. Nah, that's opinion though. You know, I'm clearly a big nostalgia fan. I mean, I just spent the past 2 days going through all kinds of 90s stuff. Watching some Outlaw Star too. It's been a good flashback. Never played this game. Who's it by? Oh, just by Sega. Last Bronze. It's probably like the predecessor to like Virtua Fighter or something. See, look through these magazines is gonna give me a lot of ideas of a lot of games I never knew existed that I want to go play now. Like you won't hear now every time. It's like the only thing is like you go Google like either you get say I want like to find some game I've never played on N64, like discover something new that's like a sleeper or a chat, and then I Google it or Bing it or you know whichever. Go and look, and it's like I either have an extensive list of every game released in all 10 of its multiple language versions that have like a slight difference in the name or title or feature. Or I'll have the same regurgitated 1,000 lists of the top 25 games that everybody already fucking knows from that category. Like, if like, I know the Zelda games exist for the Nintendo 64. I know all the Mario games. I know, you know, there's the Castlevania. I know the mainstream big ones. Even the big ones that are on, like, you look up a top, like, sleeping game list, like, games people didn't know about. And it's like, we all know about most of those now. Most of those are actively having sequels made now. Things like that. I like that, like, the art style for, like, the characters back then, too. For here. These look like almost like the Pokemon manga characters, just colored in. Those games were so good. I guess there's a big Jurassic Park following too for games like that's a little cult following it's got. I remember the one for I think either the regular Nintendo or Super Nintendo that just kicked my ass all the time until I saw a buddy finally figure out like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to survive more than 30 fucking seconds. Cool. Life finds a way. It sure does. Looks pretty fun. This is the original Dynasty Warriors. It looks so different. Like it's just started. I didn't know it just started as a fighting game. Yeah, all the good content's you're talking about modern games now. Like, it's the one thing I hate is back then when you got a game, it was a game. But no matter what it was, broken, not broken, full of glitches, which we all learned to love anyway. Now, it was a complete finished package or unfinished, but it was you had it. Now, with patches and updates and everything, now they merged from that. Like that's where it's useful. And some of the market stuff's cool or whatever. Like I love the community and like multiplayer. 50, it's like double-edged sword there, but they've pretty much killed split screen, like living room playing. Like now, like two consoles linked together. I mean, they're trying to bring some back now, but it's just so profit driven that they're. For a couple years, we've been deprived of good split screen action, like sitting on the couch, pass a controller. Like it's pointless to have more than one controller now. Unless you just want one in like each room. But I don't know. This is my whole thing about games now. Off that, I don't need to go on a whole rant. Just DLC, yeah, it ruins it. Now you get such like a partial game, and then they charge you insane amounts of money for portions of the game to come out with afterwards, or like pre-buying, or all these like stupid packages. Like, just give me your money, and then in good faith or blind faith, we'll see what you get back for a game already. Like all these pre-buys and stuff. I don't know. I miss what it used to be like, and I grew up in a place where I got one new game every like damn near over a year, and sometimes it was a year windows before I actually owned a new game. I didn't go rent one or borrow one, but that's what I had to do, which thus was like, you're playing what your friends are playing, you're all, you're into it. Now it's just, not like that at all. There were some games that I had difficulties like that on. I didn't understand the physics of 3D yet. Invisible walls and stuff. I can walk through these objects. Wow. I can't walk through this lack of objects, though. Interesting. I've never played Abe's Odyssey or the sequels, but I hear I'm missing out. I'm gonna have to go and do these sometime. Like Oddworld's Adventure and stuff like that. Looks like a good platform. Like if I people tell me if I liked Donkey Kong so much as I do, that I would like this. And I don't know if they know enough what they're talking about to make that comparison or not. Like how accurately that is from their mind. But I like the idea of it. I'm gonna have to check it out. We take games seriously. Not too seriously. How much is too serious? It's a shame that back then they couldn't have a game with a strong female leading role. I guess like just now a game got like a bunch of critical acclaim for there being a game that finally features a strong female role, and everyone's just been memeing the fuck out of it with Laura Croft. Nucleus. Like, this was a big one for arcade fans, I remember. It was cool. I think I had it on like a PC version of it I got from a demo disc or something. Okay. Most people didn't realize Samus was even female half the time. And by that I mean that it was clearly Zelda the whole time with his Master Sword. These are all games I'm going to have to go back and reappreciate. Mega Man 8 looks obnoxiously hard at just this one picture of Mega Man 8, and I'm like, never mind. I never any of the actual Mega Man games. I've only gotten like semi through one of the NES ones. One of the first few like Mega Man games, and then I've emulated a couple here and there afterwards, and never got further than it. Then I'll stage in until the X series. That looks no. You have fun with that shit, Clay. Here's a Six's fun series he likes, the Legacy of Kain series. Debutante Empire. I gotta play that series too, because I never have. Made it sound really good. Cover stuffs. I forgot about that series as well, but I remember seeing this, playing it in arcades. There's no Area 52 out there though. The only arcade game me and Clay, eat it. Beat an arcade game. Through and through to the end. I also got the high scoring pinball. I got a ball stuck in the spot. Just never stopped racking up the score until it reset. Can't beat it. Infinity. Is this the PlayStation 1 or the PC? The PC one. Oh, Blizzard had most definitely created some of the most popular PC games at the time yet seen. Warcraft 2 has an enormous following. Alright, so they were already on Warcraft 2 before StarCraft. I didn't know that. I mean, it shows looking at it actually, now thinking about it. It's really fun. Good looking there. For its time. Lil Wayne practices the art of slicing people in half with a big sword. See, I definitely didn't know. The only PC game I gave any damns about until I had a PC to play any kind of other game besides it was Diablo 2. Big surprise there. But yeah, I didn't know shit else about PC games. I didn't know they existed. I only knew of like 2 or 3 other ones besides like old MS-DOS games on Windows 98, like games that none of you are ever gonna have heard of. But nope, definitely missed out on that whole phase, which would have helped me now with game development. Would have been all about being in the modding scene in the 90s, making custom Doom maps and Unreal Tournament scenarios or whatever. We tried at your house. It didn't work, and I remember you always mentioning it, and I was like, it hard for me to go back to when I was watching videos of it because I like the Ultimate Spider-Man for PS2 so much that I couldn't do it. It's like you going to Metal Gear Solid 1 because the first one you played was Metal Gear Solid 2. And then absolutely refusing to play any other one because you didn't get to be right. Did you ever play like his game when they came out with it, like Metal Gear Rising or whatever? I feel like you would have had fun with that. You just get to run around with him, like beating the hell out of shit. There's 98% of a community that will disagree with you very adamantly on that. My guy gonna die over here. I don't know how much life he has. It's fourth. Some of these games I'm definitely unaware of the existence of. Grandia is one I've heard I've got to play too. It's been recommended. Game arts breathe magic into Saturn, the likes of which has never been seen before. Blah, blah, blah. Grandia demo disc to be given away free. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, what's the game? Oh, so the Lunar series is from them. I think I played one of them on the PSP, like emulated. And name dropped Final Fantasy VII in the article still. I was looking for that. Oh, this is... That looks like I could get into it, right? Just based off that screen right there. Looks like some guys from another, like, Illusion of Gaia, this Super Nintendo game. Looks like they got some of the same team members that did that. Excuse me, Brawl Brothers. New game. Worms 2 gets top spot. Mortal Kombat 4 for the Nintendo 64, I assume. Or PlayStation 2, actually. Yeah, that's PlayStation right there. Incubation? Never heard of it. Incubation, an action strategy by Blue Byte. 1 to 2 players for an October release. After the excellent Extreme Assault Blue Byte returned with their latest offering, Incubation. It uses the same game engine as Extreme and is best described as a turn-based action strategy game. It appears to incorporate all the best bits from RPG fighting sequences and yet still have enough new features to keep the idea fresh. You are a group of troops who have to kill all the alien inhabitants of the planet Chromos, who have become infected with human disease. The disease means that all they want to do is kill humans. Once you get into the battle, you realize the potential for this, as we mentioned earlier. Okay, I think I might have seen somebody stream this once, but it didn't look like it was in English. Or there's a game a lot like it. I think it had more to do with like mechs and it was a bit Japanesey, but this looks pretty fun. I'm gonna have to look up Incubation. That's all I'm doing, just going through here looking for games to play that I've never got to play before or even heard of. It wasn't the intention, but I knew it was gonna happen. See, they just pack this stuff with so much stuff about these games. Now all you do is get like the ones, like such big titles that you know about. Maybe you actually learn about one or two, but yeah, the PC in the background of that video is hilarious. Seeing Diablo actually on like a original hardware, like how it was meant to be played. We thought we had it rough. Mind you, we played on dial-up. And people called you, it kicked you off. You know how much shit we've lost on Diablo 2 that way? That's right, kids. People called you, it would kick you completely off the internet. When you lived in Maine, that happened the whole way up until way too late in life. I'm pretty sure we didn't see that period, so it definitely didn't use anything. Chart roundup. Okay. Pretty sure we're down at the end here. Retro computer camera. Recovering just in time to severe case of bleeping sickness. Nightmares brought on from playing too many old games. Goblin presents another feast of retro goodies. What was retro for this retro magazine? Lunar Lander, Empire Strikes Back, Super Back. I want to get some Super Nintendo magazines going. Like check out the see if any of them have like Book of Man and Earthworm and shit in them. Booger. Oh, these are walkthroughs. This is a walkthrough right here. That's so awesome. Not an ad. Well, until now. Oh, what? They even have scores in that? Like, man, people need to do this more. And then they send in like pictures of their score or what? Wipeout, Bomberman. I'm gonna screenshot one of these and like go try and beat some of these scores. It's gonna be a thing we do. Fourth. Sixth score. Like sixth score. Andrew Densley, huh? 15 seconds. 180 coins. Psh, we'll beat that shit. Crush it. Fanzines? And huh? Yeah. Whichever one of those packages you need. Some of them. Alright, well that's the end of this issue. Probably gotta stop here for a sec so I wanna upload this one straight. And we could probably check out another one. See what I got. It doesn't show me the picture in my folder, which upsets me. Let's read this one. Give a little sneak peek here. The link to the past revealed next generation.